In this video, I'm going to talk about how I mastered Chinese in 8 months and all the methods that my Chinese professors made me use in order to reach fluency faster. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about my background. So when I was 17 years old, which is almost like 8-9 years ago, I went to China for the first time, and I went because I won a scholarship. So keep in mind that I'm Italian. At 17, of course, I was in high school here in Italy, and it was given me the opportunity of taking a few exams in order to win a $13,000 scholarship. So this scholarship gave me the opportunity to go to China to study for 1 year. So at that moment, 90, like 90, Italian students went to China, as well as all the people from all over the world, coming from Thailand, Germany, America. We all went to China all at the same period of time to live the same exact experience. I mean, not same exact, but almost the same, of course, because each one of us was sent to a different part of China. So, for example, I went to the most northern part of China, which is very close to Russian borders. It was like minus 30 degrees. Maybe other people went to other parts like the south of China. Maybe they went to Shanghai, Beijing. Anyways, so in our school, there were only 12 international students. I was one of them, and we were doing a very intensive course. So we were studying from 8 a.m. till 9:30 p.m. Yes, exactly 13 hours a day of studying only and exclusively Chinese. So when people ask me like, how is it possible that you have reached fluency in 8 months? Like, it's crazy. People need like 5 years, 2 years, 3 years in order to master Chinese up to an advanced level. I tell them I was studying in this way. On Sunday, we had evening classes. On Saturday, we had classes. Basically, 7 days out of 7, we were in class, studying like crazy. So after, I think it was like 1 month that we were studying Chinese, our professor told us, from now on, we are not going to speak English anymore. Like after actually 1 month, imagine. And we were like, how is it possible? So they told us, if you want to go to the toilet, you have to ask in Chinese. If you want to ask a question during the lesson, you have to do it in Chinese. Even if you do some mistake, you still have to try hard. So imagine, they started explaining complex grammar structures in Chinese. So of course we were not ready for that. Of course it was like crazy hard, and still they put a lot of pressure on us. Why? Because they wanted to be the best school in the entire China. In China there is a lot of competition when it comes to jobs, when it comes to study. So now we'll talk a little bit about what we were doing every single day, okay, with our professors, with our students. First of all, we would do a lot of dictation. Every single day we had 30 new words to study, and 30 is nothing. Sometimes we were approaching an exam, so our professors would make us do a dictation of 100 words, which was crazy because think about it, you have to master 100 words and you cannot forget them, because let's say you do the dictation and you do 3 small mistakes, again you have to repeat it the next day. So the next day you don't just have to do a dictation with 100 words, you have to do a dictation with 200 words. So you have to make sure to put every single character, every single tone in your mind. Another thing that they would make us do is to present a topic in front of the class. Public speaking in a foreign language, which I don't even really know. So basically what we had to do is to write like a story about anything we wanted. Every single day we had to write the story, and then we had to memorize it, and at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m., we had to present it in front of the class. When I talk about speaking, how were we practicing speaking in China? Of course, it's much easier to practice Chinese speaking in, let's say, Italy, because you are in China, you are immersed in the language, okay? So of course we had our Chinese friends. They were not many because we didn't have time to actually have friends, to cultivate friendships. And our same age Chinese friends, they were also very busy like us. They were also having 13 hours classes every single day. So how do you do this? Of course, like it was very difficult, but every week I think we had like maybe a few hours where we would go to Chinese classes, because of course our class was only formed by international people. So we would go to a Chinese class made only of Chinese people. We would go listen to the lecture of the professor, and then we would interact with them a little bit. Of course, like our professor would also make us speak with her, would push us so much. And then another good thing is that during the weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, we would sleep one night at a host family house. So this host family, of course, was Chinese. They were a mom, dad, and the kid, which was the same age as me. She was a girl, and it was very funny. I mean, not funny at the beginning, was very challenging because they would give you something to eat and you had to eat it. You cannot be like, oh no, I don't want to eat it. Like, it was very challenging with Chinese food at the beginning. They would give you things that would make you vomit. And then of course after a few, like month, I understood what I liked to eat, what I didn't like to eat. So it was pretty much easier then. So let's come back to how I studied Chinese. One very important thing that we did was doing HSK mock examination. So please stay with me if you don't know what is HSK. HSK is 汉语水平考试. 汉语水平考试 means Chinese proficiency test. So basically, in the same way that you have IELTS or you have TOEFL, how do you pronounce it? I don't know in English. In Chinese, of course, you have an examination to pass, and this examination will help you to enter maybe a Chinese university or maybe to find a job in China. So, of course, our professors wanted us to go for an upper level, to actually pass an upper level. Okay, so imagine that HSK has 6 levels. I mean, at that time it had only 6 levels. I think now it has more. HSK 1, of course, is the most basic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, 6 being the advanced level. So in 8 months, I reached HSK 5, which is a very good level. Okay, why is it? Because let's say you go to university in Italy and you want to study Chinese, you actually major in Chinese in a university in Italy. You reach HSK 4 in 3 years, guys. 3 years, HSK 4. I reached HSK 5 in 8 months. Like, think about it. Like, in Italy, to reach HSK 5 in a university, you need to study at least a master's degree for 5 years, and then you reach HSK 5. I reached it in 8 months. This was how intensive the course was, like, just to make you understand. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what I think about this course, whether I would recommend it, and whether I would do it again, basically. So, if you would have asked me right after I finished this course, I would have told you I will never go back to China again. This is what I told my mom 7 years ago, like right after I finished this year. I came back home to Italy. I told her, I will never go back to China. I don't like Chinese people. I didn't like this course. It was like, so, it's not that I didn't like the course, but it was tremendous. The amount of pressure the Chinese professor can give you is incredible. It's terrible. Like, it's, oh my God. So, of course, I was not feeling happy. But after a few months that I was back to Italy, I was like, oh my God, I miss China. I miss Chinese food. I miss Chinese people. Chinese people are great. So it was like, mixed feelings at that time. If you ask me now, I am so satisfied, because after 8 years, I have so many things that now I will tell you a little bit about, so many satisfactions, because Chinese opens so many doors, and China has become home to me. I have so many Chinese friends, many Chinese friends, more than my Italian friends. Now I have like zero Italian friends. Why? Of course, because I don't live in Italy anymore. I've lived in China. I've lived in Budapest in Europe. I've lived in Dubai. So of course, like I don't stay here anymore. I don't belong here anymore. And this is thanks to China, because China has opened the doors to me. When I first arrived to China, I was only 17. My English was very broken. I studied English when I was here in high school in Italy. Of course, they only teach you to read English. They don't teach you how to speak English. So when I arrived to China, I basically found myself to study English and Chinese at the same time. At the beginning, it was frustrating. I understand when I was thinking like, oh, I will never go back to China again. I understand myself because it was so much. It was a lot. Uh, but now I'm like, please let me do it again. I would recommend it to everybody in this world because China is not what people tell you in the news. And for sure, I have to make another video about it. For now, I will tell you what happened after this year abroad in China. So basically, after this year, I went back home. I finished my high school, my 5th year of high school, because basically here in Italy, we have 5 years of high school. And I did the 4th year of high school in China. Then I did the 5th year of high school here in Italy. And then, of course, I graduated and I chose university. Now, guys, like just guess where did I go for university? Of course, I went to China. I chose to go to Shanghai International Studies University, and I didn't do something easy. I actually chose to study all my majors in Chinese. Yes, I said majors because they were two. I did a double degree, one in political science and another one in journalism. And I studied this in Chinese. Why? Because, of course, I already had HSK 5, which has allowed me to apply for this Chinese university, basically. So the bachelor's degree in China lasts like maybe 4 years. Okay, it's not like in Italy that it's like 3 years. And the master's degree is around like 3 years, which I haven't done. I have done something else. I will tell you later. So, how was this experience? Of course, it was pretty much crazy. Please let me know in the comments if you want me to make an interview about it. But basically, yes, what I did was double degree. I was in a class with only Chinese people and with Chinese professors who would talk about political science in Chinese, and I had books in Chinese talking about politics, and I had to do examinations. I had to write thesis and everything in Chinese. So if you ask me now, Alessia, what kind of level is your Chinese now? Of course, it's far away from HSK 5, must be even higher than HSK 6 to make you understand. So I live and breathe Chinese. Is my favorite language in the world. I am sure I'm going back to China very soon. But as I was telling you, like after graduation, basically what I did is I went to Budapest to work. And of course, I was not working for an Hungarian company. I was working for a Chinese company. So now I want to talk a little bit about how Chinese has helped me getting like high salaries and many opportunities. Like I actually see people struggling taking jobs in Dubai, which, like Dubai is so international. Everybody is there from all over the world. Still, people, sometimes they struggle to take a job. For me, having Chinese, people are like, please come to me. I don't have to beg them. I don't have to be like, oh, please take me. No, they will just tell me, please come to me. So it's amazing because I'm sure that if I wouldn't have done such an experience, that in only 8 months I mastered Chinese and everything, I would have never ever reached fluency in Chinese. And all these opportunities would not be there at all. Of course, like maybe if you have some other very important skill, of course you're going to be very well requested in the market. But for me, this is the skill that make me stand out in the crowd. So as I was saying before, basically I went to Budapest and I was working for Huawei, which is a Chinese company. Of course, they hired me because I was speaking Chinese. And then they also sent me to Dubai. That's why I moved to Dubai. also working for Huawei Chinese company in Shanghai. I have worked for PwC, which is an amazing multinational company. So Huawei is also like very big, like 200,000 employees, and they care about your level of Chinese when they hire you. So yes, basically Chinese has taught me so much and has built my self-confidence on changing jobs or on speaking to people. I'm more open than the 17-year-old that I was. I'm stronger, I am more independent, and many more things. So yes, this is how I learned Chinese. And now if you want to know how you can go to China, then you have to watch this video here, and I'll see you there.